Okay. The October meeting of the Board of Water Commissioners is hereby called to order. Reading of the minutes of the previous meeting. A motion to accept.
I'll make a motion to accept these.
I'll second it.
Okay, is there any changes or additions? Hearing none, we go to the vote. Those in favor accepting?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. We'll hold off on the bills and accounts. So we'll go in and finish this part of the our half of it. Drought alert update.
So September was pretty good. Fulfilling a situation that warrants conservation and drought emergency still. The elevation is 1091.9, or just about 4 feet down from construction elevation. With no more rainfall at all, we would be able to go through early December without having to pump any water out of Cooper Lake. We're still drawing about 700,000 gallons a day from Reservoir 4. Since we started taking out of there, we estimated about 26 million gallons total. But we are starting to see that affect Reservoir 4. We're losing 2 to 3 inches a day there. So we don't know how much longer that would really go. At some point, it may become difficult to treat that water. So we might have to stop. This will mean another 700,000 gallons a day out of paper.
So just for the heck of conversation. Now, I had another 2 in the reservoir course. I don't know. Being lowered also. I mean, would it be the time to kind of get stuff out of there and make it the other hold more in the future, something to that effect?
Correct.
No, I imagine it's a certain size and hasn't been used in a long time, so there's probably a lot of junk in it or
Yeah, I mean,
silt built up or something to that effect, and more would be possible to look at. Maybe.
Once we're done with the emergency.
Yeah.
yeah.
So
So
going out and.
We could look at it, take a year minimum, and have full permits to do dredging. Take a long time, you have to do soil testing, make sure you don't, if we do dredging, and you go down too far, you can break the clay level and then damage the reservoir itself. So the study would have to be done, as you say, after the drought's over. Study would be done, and then it would be looked at, the dredging the reservoir.
It makes sense, though, don't you think? I mean, for the future.
long term, I would like to at least get a bathymetric map of that, because I can't find any records to show anything as far as the depth, I mean, how much water it holds. Other than originally it held, I think 70 million, but how deep it is, where it is, if it's silted at all. So I like to do that long term.
Yeah.
And then based on how well we've been able to treat the water, pumping it out, I would like to look into maybe running a new line and running a permanent connection for the emergency pumps to use
So
it.
they do on top of that.
So that would be the long term goal to see if we can grant money for that. Get a new pipeline running down the side, so you can just pull the switch. You know exactly how much water we're taking out.
Okay.
So list of things to do down the road.
I mean, are we measuring how much to pay? Is there like a meter someplace or?
What we do is we cut Cooper Lake. We saw how much we cut it by, because we can't. Currently with the search system, we don't know how much we can take out of Cooper Lake. It's just seeing what comes through the plant. So we decreased Cooper Lake. We saw how much we decreased it by. We turned the pump on. We saw what the number went up to. There is no.
Well, we have a meter on Cooper Lake, so no,
We will.
we will when everything's done.
Yeah.
So we have no. We don't really know.
Oh, okay, we had-
No,
Did
we
we
had
have
it,
it?
we had it at one time, but it was brought, but now it's been removed, so the new one, you'll have a brand new.
Okay.
There's a Ventori there. There's a Ventori, off the Ventori measure.
Okay.
Well,
So right now it's kind of all,
We turn a valve at Cooper. We wait, 4 hours to see what the plant number changes to, and then we make our adjustments based on that. So it's kind of just.
yeah, it's on a daily basis you do that?
No, I mean, once they get it, they just leave it. So
Oh, okay.
we try not to turn that valve at Cooper as much as we try to limit the turning them at the house, it's so old. And once they get it, when the flows in the city are constant, then we ride with whatever it is. They just find that sweet spot and they go. So it's not something they have to do very often.
Okay.
But
So I mean, you out there finally got it all figured out, and you're pretty much running off of that.
based on, so we cut Cooper by the right amount, and we got 4 where we needed it to, and
Okay, so you're kind of running a even keel right now, 100 and some thousand out of reservoir,
700.
700 out of reservoir 4.
It's performing well. Well. And
Yeah.
that's being used all these years.
And no, it's
Never used for ever, as far as I remember, 50 years, it's never used.
Works very well.
I mean, it's a nice looking lake or reservoir, if you drive past it, it's beautiful looking. Okay, so we're gonna continue with the drought emergency status. And I guess one of my questions again was that at what point, when you talked to earlier about town of Ulster, we're buying like 100,000 gallons a day. And you think at some point in time, they're not gonna be able to provide us that?
Possibly.
I mean, I guess at some point in time, I'd like to be able to stop buying from the town of Ulster. Because where the money going out versus nothing coming in versus money coming back in when they buy from us, so.
Which, I mean, it's something to work with. My concern right now is winter. And if we get 2 feet of ice at elevation 1092, we're right back where we were at the worst of it in August. 1090 is our elevation. And then once it's frozen, getting water into it will be much trickier.
Right.
And the issue is the pipe is being fused.
Yeah, where are we there?
So the pipe will be fused, I believe, by the end of the month. The contractor is not committing on an earlier date, but based on what I see on Xena, it's coming along pretty quickly. I think the pipe will definitely be fused before the pump is ready to go. I know the board had asked to look at a shore alternative. They'll have to restart the shop drawing. They were submitted to CDM this afternoon. Then they need to go to DEP. Once CDM is okay with them, then DEP can take 2 to 4 weeks to have their questions and their review done.
Well, what's the better alternative? I mean, the original one was to put a raft out.
The barge.
And I thought DEP would have some issues with the barge also.
It wasn't that they had issues, it was, they insisted on the barge originally because they were under the impression that it was going to be in there for the entire length of the project for 2 years.
Oh, okay.
And then now they realized it was as
And
they
we,
would be open to the shore. Hopefully tomorrow I'll have their ideas, what that looks like, but they'll submit their drawings today.
so we have actually 2 lines being fused. It looks like the 2 lines side by side.
There are in spots, that's mostly because they have to pull it back. Where particularly are you?
From 28 down to 28A, whatever.
So what they're doing,
I'm so stone.
so they're kind of fusing and then they're pulling it along.
Oh, okay.
So it's not that
just
there's 2
laying there.
lines, it's just
Okay.
that they're fusing it in sections and they're pulling it and moving to the need to. So where you saw that was probably, there's that driveway there. And that's
Yeah, they
pulling.
haven't done it there, but it was quite a way.
So they're fusing them so they can cut the.
Almost like the whole road to me.
They're pretty much from the reservoir in up to reservoir 4, they've done with the second environmental crossings. All the road crossings are done. They have flagged where they're gonna cut through the woods at reservoir 4, so I think they're gonna be done fairly soon with that. Long before the pump is ready, even if we follow the road today, I think the pipe will be done.
and electricity.
The pole has been put in by Central Hudson. The electric was supposed to be pulled at the end of last week. My update meetings tomorrow. So that should be nearly ready to go as well. I think there's now they have to wait for Central Hudson to move transformer or something.
There's my contact was there at the restaurant.
That's all I'm working on.
So yeah, it's all work, what's something about a lot of work or a big something, and I said, well, yeah, they're putting an electric, so we don't have a diesel generator up there next to the reservoir. There's other things about you. And so I guess we'll kind of wait till next month and see where we stand, and how much rain we get, and where we go in regards to any modifications to the existing plan that we're on now.
Once I get information, I will pass it along to everybody. You know, before the meeting. If I get it tomorrow, I'll pass it along.
Cooper Lake then.
Construction continues to go well. Our intake building was delivered and set on the structure yesterday afternoon, evening. So we're building a roof. Two of the screens on the piping the reservoir in place, the high level and mid level. So right now, their next steps are encasing those pipes and doing electrical work for the building. And then in 2 weeks from today, they plan on cutting the coffee dam out and preparing to set the low level intake.
So when they get to that point, 2 weeks. What needs to be done in order to actually activate everything?
A lot of testing. Then we need to. We'll have to get divers in to put the whole level in. And then test everything and finish hooking up everything, you know, the valves and all that. So
So they still have to be set, all of that.
we're looking at mid to late November for the activation.
Okay. That's it then?
Yeah, it doesn't sound like much, but we can see it. It's,
Yeah, I need to get up there. Do you normally go up there on a particular day?
that really seems the minimum. I look at the last night, it's all dark. Waiting 7 months to see it.
So Tuesdays are normally the day to go up?
Yeah, we have our weekly bi-weekly meetings on Tuesdays, but I can go Fridays, Saturday, just.
Okay. Well, I can find available the next couple of weeks. So I'll give you a call.
Go by a reservoir.
Yeah. Well, you can get in a reservoir 4 or go past it without a problem. Getting into Cooper Lake with the construction and.
Well, I've been there.
The best day to do it, the Fridays and Fridays.
That's all right.
Friday.
Okay. Okay. We had 2020.
We have 90% plans, we just need to review and set a meeting this evening to discuss what's next.
The next step after that is 100% plans. And then sending them to whoever needs to approve them. Anybody need to approve any of this, like the local county health
We have
department?
this has already been approved by HC, so it should.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, this is the grant.
Right,
So you have DOH already looked at it, so we're the grants.
yeah, but well, isn't that like a preliminary plans as opposed to the actual plans?
Yeah.
Maybe just double check.
I mean, we'll get there, yeah.
I mean, maybe if
It's
it's
just,
just
it's valid.
valid replacement in kind,
Yeah.
maybe they don't need.
I don't think we need a review from them.
No, it's
But it's not a pipeline transmission.
okay, so the thing is basically just the replacement of existing valves and stuff.
Right.
You know, extended shut off, there's.
Okay. Well, I know on some of the other projects, You gotta submit, I mean, if we were doing like a treatment plant stuff,
Absolutely.
that will have to be reviewed and approved. Even though they're technically replaced in time, they weren't replaced in time, because we're putting new screens and new piping and filters, but that all had to be approved.
Normally that replacement for a valve replacement,
Okay,
because you can actually deal with yourself theoretically.
yeah, okay. So, any idea when we will go out to bid then on something like that?
Oh, better idea, it's really seeking.
Yeah. Okay. Tech City, anything in there?
I think the budget's still being paid. The last bill was the big bill, it was paid. I haven't heard anything from my part. I send the bill monthly, so I don't know what you guys think, but I don't have any information.
That's a lot of water use.
One out, it's one apartments,
Where? Oh, out there at Tech City? Yeah, I didn't see that.
Oh, yeah.
500 units.
I would assume that during their site plan review process, water will come up and they will reach out to us.
I think our formal presentation to the town of Ulster, according to the paper, was the 20th of this month, or will be the 20th.
To the town of Ulster Planning Board,
And or
town board or whatever.
the joint meeting they're having according to the paper.
Is there planning board that's an advisory, the town
Okay, the
board?
town board of review makes the approval and the decision.
That was 10/20 for the improvement.
It'll be interesting with supervisor and how he makes out with his election also, right? And as far as we know, there's nothing new and different on the ownership yet. That's something we probably need to talk to Mr. Corner about. Okay, we jump back up to the presentation of bills and accounts.
Yeah, I'll make a motion to accept the bills and accounts as presented.
I'll second it.
Any further discussion? Otherwise, those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. 2023 budget. Send it out.
It's been a draft,
Yeah.
draft because of things in there could have large effects. I don't expect to have health insurance numbers soon, but because it gets later and later every year.
So at some point in time, we just kind of go.
Yeah,
with
your best-
what we
best guess.
have, but yeah. So that's the nitrogen rates.
Yeah,
And then the other note here was handling the Cooper Lake. Yeah,
yeah, so I'm working with the financial advisor to see how to best handle that. That was the number I put in there is his initial thought on that, but I also want to talk to UFC on the status of the financing.
where is that actually located in the budget?
Second to last page, maybe.
That under debt service?
Yeah,
Okay. Is that you need a ban?
yes.
Ban, Cooper Lake ban? So because of the, do we have to, I mean, are we switching from the ban to something else, or we keep
Once the EFC financing closes, the ban will go away.
go away and that'll be replaced with the EFC financing?
Yeah.
Bond or whatever. And will that amount go up or down then? With the EFC?
Well, EFC does it a little differently, so the ban you have to pay yearly with EFC financing. It would be, we would get a portion, we would get 50% of the grant up front, and then we would get a short-term loan But they do this thing where, once you draw down from the loan, there's, I think it's 18 months before you pay principal, so we don't even paying interest for the first year, so it might take a little while to set schedule.
Okay. So the cost wouldn't be as high.
Next year, well, no, most likely.
Until the principal.
Once the bond comes, then
Okay.
it's going to skyrocket.
The way you have here from. At least the draft budget shows a reduction of almost 150,000 on debt.
Yes. For this year, we had to pay the ban as if it were needed to be paid off in the next 40 years.
Okay.
But next year, the anticipation is the ban will not have to be renewed because new students take credits for us.
Well, that's good to see that. Right.
Yes.
So we want to set a. Normally we have like a work meeting.
Yeah.
We want to do that. Well, when do this is only October. We want to, I mean, in the past, we moved the budget as late as December. I think
Yeah, we don't have to do it. I just want to make sure the word is out. As soon as I want to.
I mean, we hold it off and have a workshop next month sometime then?
Sure. Well, how often we anticipate getting the health insurance and we just usually don't.
We have gotten those before, but it's still finalizing them
Okay.
3 years. If this thing gets later every year.
Mhm.
Okay, well, let's just hold on to it then.
You have to draft some of these questions in the meantime.
A lot of times we answer those, I say those for the workshop and go through them all, so everybody's kind of aware of the same questions and answers. As opposed to me sending you something, you answer my question and somebody else has a similar same question and then you're answering. You just do it all in one room or at one time. So we'll set up a workshop next month in November sometime. After then, we're not meeting this. Appreciate you doing that to us.
I just do have a question about the shift differential. Why don't we have,
Union negotiation.
okay, that's what I figured, I just forgot something. Okay, yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I mean, that's my most, I don't know the question. We'll wait till then.
Would it be possible to get possibly when bonds are coming?
May they end?
Yeah.
You know, end date, or end year?
Just so I can.
I know all that. You just like want the years of when that would be final.
Yeah.
Sure.
I don't think there's anything that's. A new vehicle purchase one,
Nothing next year,
yeah,
I believe. So I think the EWSR 2 will be coming to the end shortly. Maybe the 2 possibly in a couple of years.
probably the earliest is 2025.
They provide you with the bar, man.
Yeah.
We got rid of that it must have been last year.
It's
Not a real street, but
over.
we're having.
Do you guys want to pick a day in November now, or do you want to wait until?
You can pick one in November,
I guess we might as well.
Yeah, that way you
between
can
November.
clear your calendar the whole month in advance,
Mhm.
helps.
Both of the clients and stuff.
So, the next meeting is a none.
Is not approving the budget on December 14th? Too late.
Not for me.
Not you're okay with.
Alistair is usually the inquiry party. When you have a draft, you have an idea of where it could land.
Okay, so what's everyone's pleasure in regards to the date and time?
Do you want to keep it on a Thursday or not, or
You mean Wednesday?
Wednesday? They early.
Yeah, we're gonna the 16th. The following week it's into Thanksgiving.
It won't work for me. It's my son's birthday.
Okay.
I have off Veterans Day, if anybody wants to meet earlier, you know.
On Veterans Day.
All these people, these are all holidays for these people. I don't know. Great.
Oh, you guys are off on Veterans Day.
Yeah.
Well, then you don't have to.
Um,
You guys, you didn't have, on this.
Oh, I got a lot of holidays, so look at her.
Okay, I guess, yeah, every one of them.
Would it be, I mean. Probably, I mean, would it be possible, I mean, to meet on the second, like before, and actually then.
Prove it on the 9th.
That's fine, yeah, who would be
I
on
mean,
the
I
second?
think that could maybe make it a little, like, if not, we're like 2 weeks away from like the end of the year and like we get to update fee schedules or whatever
Yeah.
else, it gets a little bit. We got holidays.
Well, I guess that, yeah. The second's fine. A Wednesday and. What time? And again, normally
Well,
5
it's-
o'clock is
Yeah,
better for
it's-
Joanne and probably Pat too, or whatever.
I'm doing an after school program that goes to 1 house. I'll just leave early,
That day.
but yeah, yeah.
On the second at 5 p.m. Is that okay with you, Pat?
Yep, that should be fine. Thank you.
Okay. Think you'll be, well,
The 2nd of December.
November. At 5 p.m. Okay. Sounds good. Correspondence.
Nothing. The only other thing that I have that's not on the agenda is I did get numbers from CDM on hydraulic model for Golden Hill. I have not had the opportunity to discuss with the county or the developer up there.
Well, did they approve? Planning board approve that? What does that stand?
Yeah, so the planning board is approved, with a lot of conditions. So, you know, they did give approval, but there was a lot of, I don't remember all the conditions, but there was a bunch that they still have to provide X, Y, or Z to be able to actually move forward, but they did get site plan approval. I don't know if water was one of the conditions, but there could have been, it could have been.
And I think Sue was making sure that was working for that.
Can you just double check it soon? Can you get a copy of the
She got a letter, so. Yeah,
Okay, we have it. We copy us on their approval or not?
Just not sure, but yeah, I'll talk to Sue and see exactly how it's worded. And I think
The
our letter.
board approves the conditions, it must be,
Yeah.
a copy of the approval, near the conditions cited, that is public record, so, that another city agency, so to speak, would be maybe appropriate that we get a carbon copy of the approval or for the developer who is seeking approval. So we're waiting for the CDM to get the cost then?
No, I have the cost. I just need to talk to the developer and what it was.
Is this something you can share or not share with us?
I don't know if it matters. I haven't talked to Bill.
Okay, that's fine. I don't do that. Yeah, that's the, what's that called up there? What's the name of the,
Golden Hill, Penrose.
Penrose is the developer. I don't know.
Golden Hill.
Golden Hill Housing Development.
And how many units were that?
Like 160-ish.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, that was the letter of concern that I sent. Yes. Okay, anything else? Was on the superintendent's report?
I don't know.
Yes, okay, superintendent's report.
Well,
Okay. Yeah, the only thing that I mentioned to you before was that the normal elevation of Cooper Lake in September is 3.8, and we're at 1455, but 10 feet of that is the construction reduction, so I mean, without construction, you know, like 4.55 versus 3.8, so it's not like it's that far off from what the artificial level should be. Which is hope that we get,
I mean, also
a bunch of rain.
another 10 feet probably would have been pretty. There's some.
I mean, if we're less than 10 feet from normal, that's what we're expecting to be at, right? And theoretically. Okay.
I mean, I guess, yeah. Just my worry is the that's my concern.
Maybe the level can be higher now that they have the buildings down.
Well, once the proper dam is out, it's something they're willing to talk about. Contract says no. But they let us come up higher during last winter. But I don't think we're gonna get to the point where it matters.
I mean, the problem is that water's not entering at a rate to even bring it up to effect.
Yeah, we're still 4 feet away from that conversation.
Rain tomorrow.
Well, yeah, well, we gained about a foot, we said, from
The last meeting.
the last meeting.
Oh, okay.
So, we gain another foot or two. And now in the next meeting, and be in a better position to talk about this. Okay, so, motion to accept the superintendent's report.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Yeah, all in favor?
Aye.
Yeah, all right. Anything for executive session?
No, we do have 2 openings. I have nothing other than that. We've got 2 openings in the labor position posted.
Is it news people?
2 people could leave for other positions.
Okay, I mean, we don't get over executive sessions.
No, I mean, I won't have anything until November, December possibly. One's an operator. The trainee exam will be given on the 22nd of October.
So one is the laborer position?
One is the laborer for downstairs.
Yeah, and
One's
one's
an operator. We expect to have the list for the operators. Potentially by the 24th.
That exam, the
22nd
operator's doing? Of this month.
Yes, but it's graded by civil service
Right.
over there.
So you'll have it like a week or two later.
They're gonna grade it that Saturday afternoon, so I'll have it Monday morning.
So who do we actually lose?
I don't know.
Kyle Clapper. He was the operator.
Yes.
Where is he now?
Over water system.
Well, okay. And who was the laborer that was what?
Colin Water.
Well, it seemed to be.
Couple of years.
Okay.
It's something we should be concerned about.
Okay. So he was probably up at a water assistant or whatever that title is. That's a
Water maintenance assistant, I believe. Is his title.
If you start as a laborer, then you go up
He
to
was by the next day, he was the water service, the water maintenance site.
Okay.
He was
someplace in that.
Yeah, that's where it was.
Okay. And the laborer is non-competitive, so you can just put out
And we posted it. We've gotten quite a few to look at. So,
okay. So you're gonna be setting up interviews shortly, then, I guess?
yeah, the next couple of weeks, I mean, posting is up through either the other next week or the week after.
Okay.
I wasn't expecting to get as many responses as we did, because last time we tried to hire, I tried part of the last week, I got like 4 people to reply. Okay, so this time
Well, that's good.
it's going the other direction, so,
Perfect.
but we're not looking to rush to decisions, so maybe the December meeting possibly.
Okay. As long as you're operating okay without position, that's good.
Just to go back to Article from Hill, the final resolution is on the planning board's website, and so for us, it just basically in the amending conditions, it says that Kingston Water Department issue final sign off of the system providing the potable water supply to the action. Which basically says that the water department's essentially involved. Like one way, shape, or form, like maybe the water department's essentially involved, which is good. It gives us the ability to negotiate with the county and Penrose and ourselves to figure out how best the system should work.
And we never heard anything from the county in regards to the fact that they probably should be touching base with the county since it's the county's water system that's providing the water.
Well, I had that call with the county and Penrose. Right before the last meeting.
Yeah, but in the letter, we talked to the planning board about getting that type of approval.
There is a letter from the county that says that they have
Adequate.
I forget the wording they use, but they did. It's
Submit something.
it's submitted a letter to me. They have.
On the Sunday was.
No change in rates or anything, just giving them water, no reduce charge and for water done in this.
I mean, it's a county.
Yeah.
The county, we bill. I know you went over this last month. So we bill the county for the county-owned properties,
Yes.
and there's several different properties, several different meters,
There are.
and we bill them at the normal Kingston Water Department rates. Based upon their usage and their categories, units and stuff. And then the nursing home, which is now a private entity, we bill them directly. And the same thing, they pay us according to our rate schedule. One of the things we kind of broached, which is part of the budget, and maybe I don't know where we stand between now and the second or the ninth, is a discussion with county about the fee for us managing their water system. At what point in time do we broach that subject about? There hasn't been an increase in how many years?
I forget when it was signed, 2004 maybe the agreement was signed. I forget what, but I think it was 2004 the agreement was signed.
Do we have that conversation or some type of correspondence now prior to the budget? I mean, again, that's just not going to be affecting the budget that much. I mean, what do we get from them? 50? 50 for the year? Yeah, so even if we went up 75, it could be a lot. It's not going to affect that much, but you know, at what point in time do we have that discussion? When do we have the discussion? Or do they have it right now?
I mean, I guess you can have that during these conversations about how the system is going to work.
Okay, and do you have anything, a set meeting yet?
No, I did not. And I haven't, that hasn't been something I had looked at earlier than just, it hasn't changed, so.
Some point in time, I think we need to.
Well, the average salaries and everything is 5%, but I think the water department even higher than 5%. Just salary increases.
Yeah, well,
Inflation rate.
well, they haven't had a rating, or they haven't had an increase on us running their water system in 20 years.
Right.
So yeah, even if you just went ahead and started using, you know, they have an inflation over the last 20 years. It's, you know, it's gonna
You
be,
go high 20 years ago, and what it costs now,
yeah, like double. And I'd like to have, and I don't know what the process, I don't know if our Mr. Pooner needs to have that discussion, so maybe.
Thanks for having this.
Okay, then why don't we bounce that when he comes back from vacation, bounce that off to him in regards to how he thinks is the best way for us to broach that with the county. I'm assuming there must be an agreement that specifies that contract or whatever you call it, so. It's a legal document, I guess, that we probably need to consult with him anyway, but I think we need to have that conversation as part of this budget discussion. With that. Okay, so sometime between, well, maybe you can invite Mr. Quinn, I don't know if he wants to attend our budget workshop, but. Maybe we can touch base with him when he's back, and so I think the board's preference is to have that discussion with the county as part of the budget approval process. Okay. Anything else before the board? That's it. Okay, thank you. Got the motion to
Make that motion.
I'll second it.
Okay, those in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Aye.
Thank you.
Nice.